Well, we made another long drive out across the country to go do some roadbooks out in public land because we don't have any of that in the Midwest. And took the 690 out there. This bike is continuing to develop. The suspension's working pretty well. The ergonomics and stuff I'm pretty settled on, but continuing to get just some of the details sorted out. So made some changes to the fuel injection system and put a new injector on it, tried a few different things. While we were out here, also was trying a different clutch. So Linden Posket Racing now makes a manual clutch for these that fits under the stock clutch covers. So I had put one of those on this bike right before coming out here, and that was probably the biggest change to the bike for this ride. And all these things just kind of gradually making this bike a little bit better, a little bit more natural feeling. The bike makes a massive amount of power. It's still not really getting enough fuel at the top end. I think over like 6,500 RPMs, you can kind of hear I'm short shifting it because it'll kind of surge a little bit. And it's not wheel spin, it's not clutch slip. On pavement you can feel it too. But up through the mid-range it feels great, so I just kind of ride it in the mid-range all the time. It's geared long enough that for the most part I can do that. It makes more power than I need. It definitely does not need any more power than it's got. So now I'm just trying to make it more, I guess I'll say natural feeling. Like I don't want to be thinking about the bike when I'm riding except for, laughing because it's fun or whatever, right? I don't want to be like, oh, it's surging a little bit here, so I need to shift differently. Or with the old torque assist clutch that these come with from the factory, oh, I'm going to have to shift differently because I know if I go down a couple gears, I'm going to hit this bump and it's going to activate the slipper thing, and then when I roll on the throttle mid-corner, it's going to feel weird as the revs catch up. So just trying to fix things like that and make it just feel natural so that I can focus on navigation and focus on riding and not riding around the bike. And I think it's really close. I mean, it feels really, really good. And it doesn't wear me out. The power is massive but manageable. Now it's just optimization and cutting a little bit of weight out, simplifying the tower, or some little things like that. So really, really happy with it. This was a pretty short loop. There was a little bit burned in. You can see there's some other tracks in the trail. I wasn't opening the trail at all. Trying to ride a good pace and try to navigate at the same time, because as my ability to ride has improved and as the bike has improved and let me ride faster, I find that I end up riding behind the roadbook a little bit, which I'm doing right here. You can kind of see get to the top of this hill and I say something about it. .63. Once again, riding past the roadbook. Yeah, all around a good time. We did get rained out, unfortunately. The terrain out here is very, it's bentonite soil, and when this stuff gets wet, it's impossible to ride in. And you can see the ruts in some of the video shots from when a truck or something was out here when it was a little bit wet, but it becomes downright impassable. It sticks to everything, and it's a good way to destroy a bike, destroy a clutch, and break chains and all that. So yeah, we got about a day less riding in than what we hoped for, and I had to bail early on one of the roadbooks because of some issues with the clutch that we're still sorting out. I think it's fixed now. This is what happens with early production parts. Like you get a part that's custom and maybe not all the bugs are worked out. I think the bugs might be worked out now, but I'm pretty darn happy with it. did also have a new member of the group with us, so it's always fun to introduce people to the rally. It's a great community. Everybody's there to help and kind of work together on like the challenge of navigation. It's a very different thing from like the motocross scene. It's a little bit more like the off-road world, the air scramble world, but rally really is great people. Everybody's there to help. And if you got a bike problem or something else, you're going to find people and parts and whatever you need, and people will try to keep you going again. That's always cool. So always fun getting more people into it. That's how I got into it. Kind of end up almost having to know somebody to even know that rally exists, and that's how we all get started here in the States. There's a lot of people who look at stuff like this and say, wow, you're like, how do you navigate and ride that fast? And the key is that I'm not navigating and riding this fast. I'm just riding. You can kind of see in some of the shots where my odometer is and what's on the road book. In most of the cases where I'm going fast, I know that I have half a kilometer, a kilometer and a half. I know roughly how far I have to go before the next action I need to take. And until I get to that action, I'm just riding. And when the trail that you're on is a well-defined track like this, if you know that you've got another kilometer to go, you can ride without thinking about the navigation until you get to that next instruction. So here I'm riding until I get to that 22.8-ish. I know I'm going to hang a right, and I know based on the instruction that it's going to be really obvious when I get there that there's no straight through. It's going to be a road with a Y intersection, and I'm going right. So then I can just hammer down, not worry about looking down, and I'm basically riding like I'm riding a dirt bike. So the navigation stuff you can kind of break up, and you're not riding and navigating all the time. You're riding, and then you're navigating, and then you're riding, and then you're navigating. The human mind tends to crash dirt bikes if you try to do both at the same time. Okay, 26.7, we're good. 44. Tree in the distance. You can hear there's some stuff rattling around. I need to figure out what's going on with that. There's a couple things that I think it could be. One of them I fixed, one of the quick connects bouncing off the frame, but I think the roadbook holder itself is rattling. The rollers in the roadbook holder are bouncing up and down. So it's pretty distracting, even with earplugs in your helmet. So it'd be nice to figure out how to quiet that down a little bit. Definitely any noise, like we all talk about making bikes sound good, put mufflers on things, whatever else, but really any sound is an input that your brain has to process, and rattles are included in that. So keeping stuff quiet and sounding the way you expect them to sound is a part of prepping a bike, and I've not figured out how to make the roadbook holder not rattle. I don't take a whole lot of video of this stuff anymore, especially if I'm riding aggressively rather than like kind of dual sport or adventure riding. That having the camera on my helmet like kind of bothers my neck a little bit, so the videos are getting a little bit more sparse, but it's still fun to get out there and with the camera and just kind of see what it looks like and just record for the memories. It's interesting to see the progression over time, because I've got roadbook videos going back 6-7 years now. My approach and like listening to myself talk and the thought process has changed a lot over the years. It's kind of interesting to look back on. The last section of this video, there is a pretty rough road, and this ended up being a pretty interesting test of the suspension. The fuel tanks in this thing are full. This is a Kit 690 setup, so it's got the RFR tanks on the front and a big RFR tank on the back. Getting the suspension to not be harsh but still hold up is always a challenge, and it's getting close. I mean, the bike feels really good through this kind of rough, slightly inconsistently whipped out trail, and it did pretty well even with the weight on it. So we're in the realm of small tweaks to make it what it needs to be, and that's feeling pretty good. There's a lot of time into this bike to make it do what I want it to do. It finally feels like it's getting close, and I don't think I'll be getting really much faster on the bike, but you know, we'll just get things dialed in and it'll be really predictable, easy to ride, and low energy to ride a pace like this. That's really the goal. Just another video out in the desert, having fun on two wheels.